The rest of these slides really just go through some tips. They're just more for informational purposes. The key is just, before we come out there, do as much of your homework as you can. Make sure that, I encourage you to go ahead and go to our site, pull down the administrative tool, pull down the service-specific tools based on whatever services are that you provide. Go through those. If you have questions, give us a call. And keep copies of everything. Keep multiple copies, that's what I always say. Scan them, get them electronically in terms of some of the documentation that we seem to ask for over and over again every year. Because things happen. People's houses, unfortunately, there's fires, there's floods, there's any number of things. So we suggest that people just make sure you keep multiple copies of stuff. It's not a requirement, it's just an idea. All right, the next slide is really just some tips to keep you organized and tips to be prepared before we come out for a review. The more organized you are, the easier to be. And you'll know what you're missing before we come out there. Again, also a way to do that is through your annual self-assessment. Background screenings, make copies of everything, even the fingerprint card before you send it. Of course, that's something we probably will be changing here soon because there really aren't much more use of the cards because everything's going to electronic to the live scan. Keep required documents. Keep everything. Keep certificates of training for the folks that you employ. Keep your own documents. Make sure that you get everything you need in terms of if you're sending off to a school, an educational institution, and you're trying to get a transcript to verify experience and degrees. Keep copies of it all. Keep copies of those. Make sure you have everything for every single person that you employ. Some organizations, and I think have created, again, they have a checklist of all of the pre-hire and post-hire and orientation type things that they know they need to have for each person that they hire to make sure that none of these pieces get missed. Because it's easy to do. When you get in a hurry and processing a person's employment application and all of their employment documentation is just one of many things on your list to do that day, it's easy for things to get missed, and therefore you don't find out about it until we come out. If you haven't gotten results back from FDLE or FBI in a reasonable amount of time, and with the live scan, I've heard anywhere really from like 2 days to 6 months, but I think the average is somewhere around 2 to 7 days is what we've been hearing, but that's just hearsay. So if you're not getting those results back, because obviously you want to be able to put those people to work as soon as possible, and not being able to do that until you get the results, make sure you follow up as soon as possible. In situations like the question, if you're getting the wrong service authorization, if you're getting wrong information or incorrect information from a provider, track your efforts, or not getting information or not getting documentation from somebody. Make sure you you document those efforts. You called so-and-so on this date requesting the support plan, and I still haven't had it. Track the 5-year rescreenings. Some areas do track this for you. My experience is most do not. They're not going to send you a little reminder note saying your 5-year rescreening is due next month. Track it yourself. Make sure you start that process a little bit ahead of time. If it expires May 30th, don't go to the live scan place on May 29th expecting it to be back and everything okay. I suggest 3, if not 6 months prior to go ahead and start that process just to make sure that it gets done and taken care of beforehand. The next screen is the tips, the additional policies and procedures. These also are identified in the handbook. They actually fall right after the ones that are required to be written. Screening requirements, marketing practices, records retention, HIPAA, due process, payment and recoupment, goods and services provided, APD notification, financial requirements, and changes in provider status. These are all really good additional policies and procedures to have in addition to the ones that are actually required. And that's it. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate your time, and give us a call if you have any questions.